We'd like to officially welcome you to the room of our Governor's Council.
Okay.
And all of our Governor's Council are present to witness the oath of office. First of all, congratulations from Governor Baker. For me, we wish you much success as you engage in further service in this Commonwealth as a former municipal official. A selection, you'll bring all of that and more to your work, and Lauren, for all of your support, not only in the campaign and journey to Election Day, but there will be much support needed as this time and demands on it become real as a member of this great and general board. It's a real honor to be able to serve. It's a great Commonwealth, it's a great district, and the people will benefit from your hard work. And you have two states, men and women here who understand the ins and outs of all of the work and the team effort that goes into making Massachusetts perform the way it does in every place. Our treasurer and our Senate president, two public officials who Governor Baker and I have enormous respect for and enjoy working with every day. So welcome aboard to the team. So we're here to comply with the Massachusetts Constitution and the general laws relative to the tabulation and certification of votes cast in the October 17 special election to fill a vacancy in the Massachusetts State Senate. And I recognize Councilor Jubenville for a motion to record certification that Paul R. Feeney has been elected Senator in the General Court from the Bristol and Norfolk Senatorial District.
I do so with pleasure.
Second. There is a motion and there is a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Now, here we go. You
We
ready?
just elected her, not the citizens.
This is it.
Don't forget that when our pay raise comes up.
Okay. Let's get your hand up there. Raise your right hand and after that. I, please state your name. I
Paul R. Feeney,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts
to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts
and will support the Constitution thereof.
and will support the Constitution thereof.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I
Paul R. Feeney,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all the duties incumbent on me
all the duties incumbent on me
as a Senator for the Bristol, Norfolk District,
as a Senator for the Bristol and Norfolk District,
according to the best of my abilities
according to the best of my ability
and understanding,
and understanding,
agreeably,
agreeable
to the rules and regulations
to the rules and regulations
of the Constitution
of the
and
Constitution
the laws of this Commonwealth.
and the laws of this
So
Commonwealth.
help me God.
So help me God.
I
Paul R. Feeney,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
Senator, you have to sign one piece of paper.
Senate President and the Treasurer to extend their best wishes to you.
Madam Treasurer?
Well, before you get the official pin, which you haven't done since you gave one to Lauren, you know I am here today. For those in the room who don't know this, Paul and I go way back to even before I was treasurer and before anything else that I did as a fellow selectman. We worked on issues together. We've been longtime friends. We weren't always on the same side in every fight, but we were always friends. And this was an important race to me personally. I am so proud to be here today, and I wish you every good luck in your role. I know that the Commonwealth will get a very dedicated servant, so congratulations.
And now, on behalf of all of the members of the Massachusetts State Senate, we want to welcome you aboard. We look forward to working with you, and we know from your long history of community service and leadership that you will be an outstanding member of the Massachusetts State Senate. And today, you not only take the title of State Senator, but also the title of the Honorable. And that title stays with you for your entire life, and even after your service. Because today the people have put the trust in you to be their senator, and you owe them your best them the responsibility that when you leave with that same title, the Honorable. And with that, I'm going to give you the opportunity to put this pin right on his lapel. You want to say
Anything you'd like to say, Paul?
I am
The Honorable?
Except you don't have to call it that.
I just thought I thank you everybody for being there. It's really a momentous day in my life. Never thought that my path would take me here to serve as a senator in the Bristol and Norfolk district. But there's no such thing as a coincidence. We've worked hard. The people in my district are just salt of the earth people that deserve a strong voice. And Mr. President, Madam Treasurer, Madam Lieutenant Governor, I can pledge to you that I work hard every day on behalf of my district, the people of my district, and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I'm blown away. Thank you.
now that you've rehearsed this today, we'll do it again tomorrow.
That's great. This is the warm-up. That's great. That's great. You've done this before.
Council does available for pictures too.
Are we all set? All in order? Great.
You're in.
Senator, we need you to sign one piece of paper.
Yes.
You sign right there, above your name. Hi, Deborah. How are you?
Good to see you.
Gotta do the paperwork.
Yeah, I know.
Good.
You got more work to do, ladies. All right, we do.
How are you? My son. Milford. I love Milford. Yes. Yeah. You know what? It was great. It's been a great town for me. I've made some really good friends down there. The Italian background. It's a great community. I do.
Mr. President, come anytime.
Wow, the whole world that I met her was a principal and her family, after her family was Aaron, a lawyer. Yeah, it was all wrong, You did, huh? Yeah, it was a good family. Let us know. That's it. So you came here in 1973?
All right, I can sign away, whatever you need. Okay. Order in the chamber.
Good to see you.
I think you should hire me to report on
Sergeant at Arms.
Sergeant at Arms. Can I do Sergeant at Arms?
There you go, yeah.
Order in the chamber.
I just wanted you to have an opportunity.
Yes.
I would have went on for 25 minutes, so I didn't want to. Council Kid, you didn't want me to do that.
There we go. So we already recognized Councilor Jubenville for a motion, but why don't we officially open our assembly today with a prayer and pledge led by Councilor Iannella. We'll call our assembly to order.
Thank you. Just let's have a moment of silence for all the people in New York City who died as a result of the terror attack, as well as all the people who were injured in the terror attack. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd like to call upon Councilor Devaney for a motion to record advice and consent for the financial warrant.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And I recognize Councilor Jubinville for a motion to record advice and consent for the pending list of notaries, public, and justices of the peace.
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
And I recognize Councilor Ianella for a motion to record advice and consent for the appointment of John C. Englander to the position of Associate Justice of the Appeals Court.
Thank you. I make a motion to approve John Englander as Associate Justice of the Appeals Court.
There's a motion and a second. Councilor Devaney.
Discussion. First of all, I do want to thank this nominee. He neglected to answer the first question on our questionnaire about his financial investments. It is the same exact question that's asked on the J&C. But as you know, the J&C is confidential and ours is public. And so that will be, what he sent will be attached to the our questionnaire. But I just want to say that I am very upset about what the process that's being forward. I've been here 18 years and no administration has ever done this before. And today we're looking at a Supreme Judicial Court appointment. If we look at her application, and she's going to be appointed to a Superior Court. Mr. Englander he applied only to the SJC, as she did, and now they told him to go to the Appeals Court. I'm concerned about the people, the good lawyers who are in good faith who are applying, and they download the application. Very simple. They fill out the application, they submit it, and they do it within the deadline for that particular court. And then, if they're lucky, they get an interview with the J&C. That's how it works. But this is, okay, you have someone for that court, so we'll send you to someplace else. It's not fair to jump the line for the other people, and I'm really concerned. And this is about the sixth that I've seen this year, and I'm very, very concerned about it. And I hope this will stop, and we'll go back to the past practice with openness. And I don't know if I would want to apply if I know that after I go through all this process and I fill out that application, and it doesn't take a day, Lieutenant Governor. I know from attorneys it takes a long time to make sure that everything is right because there's some pains of perjury, and yet then someone is just put ahead. It's wrong. This man is qualified. I'm concerned that he doesn't have criminal experience, but I can't change his intelligence and all of that. But I'm going to declare here, I'm not going to vote for any others that have been Supreme Judicial Court, and now we've been told to go to another court. You know what? I know you can do it, but it's not right. And so that's what I'm going on. My past experience with other administrations, this has never been done, and it's so wrong to the good people who are qualified and applying and really think I've got it, and then someone's told over there without going through the J&C. That's what we've established here. They go through the J&C, they're established, and that's it. But I'm looking at an SJC application, and the nominee is telling me why they want to go there, why they qualified for it, and yet they're being sent to something else, and we're supposed to vote on it. So I just wanted to give notice. This is my last time that I will vote for someone that is being sent to a court that they never, ever applied to. I mean, you want to be on that court. That's why you applied for it. So I've said more than I should have, but that's it. And so I will be voting yes, but I am very upset about the process of the way it's been going, and for this person too. So I want that to be public record. Thank you.
Councilor Jubinville.
Just briefly, I had the pleasure of working with this nominee at the BTA. I thought he did a great job there. It was a pleasure working with him. He's eminently qualified in my view. Just a very, very decent human being. So it's a pleasure voting for him.
Okay, thank you, Councilor. Councilor Duff.
I'd also like to concur with Councilor Devaney. I understand that it does say in the application that you can be considered for other courts. But I would urge the administration, for the sake of transparency, to, have them go through the same process, because it really, I find it disrespectful to us as a body, but I don't think it helps the applicant at all when they get there. So just a suggestion that, maybe there's a different way to approach this. If you find a good candidate who's applied for that, have them go through the process. In that way, it's much more transparent.
Thank you. Councilor Kennedy.
I'm going to agree with them with respect to that. I agree that somebody can be appointed to a different court than they applied to. But this was a different JNC that these people went through. Mr. Englander and the nominee that's here today, with a completely different focus than what the typical JNC has. Mr. Englander, Attorney Englander, at least is applying for, is being appointed to an appellate court. So the focus would be very similar, I suggest. The nominee we have today, they're putting on a trial court, and I think that the vetting would be very different for someone going on the trial court than it would be for somebody going in an appellate court. Different questions, different questionnaire, different process, and it's kind of like taking a shortcut. And I didn't realize that was going on, frankly, until last night when I was reviewing things, and it dawned on me. I'm going to vote for Mr. Englander. I think he's highly qualified. I think he's a great candidate. I think he's a real gentleman, and I think he's going to be a great addition to the appeals court. But I was a little concerned, and I raised it with some of my colleagues last night, about that process, that kind of taking a shortcut. And it's not the shortcut that bothers me as much as the fact it was a whole different JNC that they went through. So I do agree with Councilor Manning and Councilor Duff.
Would anyone else like to be heard? Okay, thank you. Councilor Hurley.
I would recognize this as a red letter day in terms of having consensus to the extent that we have on this issue. I don't have a problem with the governor and lieutenant governor can do whatever they want. Clearly, they don't have to have a JNC, they don't have to have a joint bar or anything else that goes with it. Reference has been made here to the joint bar and the fact that they're almost circumventing the process that we all go through, including the governor and lieutenant governor. And if somebody's got a vendetta, and Councilor Duff raised this, if somebody's got a vendetta against somebody, they can short circuit somebody. The JNC has said is great, the governor's legal counsel said is great, and the governor and lieutenant governor have said is great. And I just think that that part of the process should be re-examined. I do agree, having been a judge, I recognize full well that being an appellate judge is totally different from being a judge in a court. You could have somebody who applied for a district court that you say is, they definitely belong in the Superior Court. You could have somebody on the Superior Court that made application to the Superior Court. No, they definitely should be in the district court. Okay? That's where their qualifications are most suited. And you should have that kind of flexibility without going back and reinventing the wheel. However, to take somebody on the appellate level who applied to a different JNC, that we're looking for different qualities and qualifications, and not having them go through the regular process, I think is a disservice to the governor, lieutenant governor, the citizens of this Commonwealth, and I would agree. And oh, by the way, I think Englander is a superstar, and I think he'll do a great job in the appeals court. Thank you.
Councilor Casey.
If I understand and echo, I agree with my colleagues with respect to the process. I do have concerns about the joint bar and how the joint bar works. I brought this to the Chief Legal Counsel's attention. And the way it works right now is just, we sit in this chamber as duly elected constitutional officers. Some of us rein in over a $250,000 votes every election. And, we take our duty very seriously, and we come here with the mantle of the people, duly elected by the people, to carry out our duties in this chamber and take votes, hard votes on lifetime appointed judicial candidates. And I think the process right now needs to be re-examined with respect to the joint bar. It hasn't always been this way, but what we have now is a group of individuals, all attorneys. I don't know how fair that is to John Q. Public, because he's not a lawyer, he doesn't have input at the very last stage of the process, who represent a super minority of attorneys in this Commonwealth. You have over 60,000 lawyers in the Commonwealth, and only 14,000 approximately are members of the Mass Bar Association. So they don't even represent a majority of the attorneys in this Commonwealth. They're not elected. They're not appointed by the administration, which if they were at least appointed by the administration, like the JNC, there is that nexus between the public and their elected officials and accountability that is so important in this process. They're not elected. They're not appointed. They meet in secrecy. They take anonymous votes. I equate them to a star chamber, and their votes are anonymous. They take anonymous letters. They take anonymous phone calls. And whenever I receive, and I believe I speak for my colleagues, an anonymous letter or somebody calls you and they won't put their name on a correspondence, it goes into the trash can. Because if you can't defend your position and you're going to make allegations against a candidate, you need to be able to stand up, be recognized, and put it on the record, like we do every week. We put our votes on the record every week. And the attorneys who vote against nominees, you know, we walk into court and we appear before those nominees. We're accountable. We're accountable to the citizens of the Commonwealth. I've asked that the process be reviewed. I've been told it would be reviewed. I take that in good faith. And I would be remiss if I didn't point it out, because the notion that unelected, unappointed individuals who represent a super minority of attorneys in the Commonwealth could have veto power over the judicial nomination process is offensive to all my senses of democracy and representative government.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Casey. Councilor Kennedy.
I just want to echo Councilor Casey's sentiments with respect to the joint bar. It's as though the administration has ceded power to this organization that works in secrecy, secret ballots. Even the nominees don't know why they're turned down by them. People who've already been vetted by the Judicial Nominating Commission. And all of a sudden they get to this point and they're just shut down. And we, the elected constitutional officers that are there to decide whether someone's qualified, never get the opportunity because the administration is deferring to the joint bar. That's a non-governmental agency that works in secret. It's absurd.
Amen.
Councilor Iannella.
Different issue. I'm going to request a date change for Deborah Squires-Lee. I did say we would return back at 1:15, but I'm going to suggest that we continue that hearing for November 15th at 1:15. And I believe Councilor Hurley has a hearing that day in Robert Santiago. My understanding that she is willing to change that date to November 29th at 1:15.
Okay, before we go to that, I do have a motion and a second relative to the appointment of John C. Englander. So I'd like to begin the roll call.
Roll call.
And then we'll go back to that. Council, we have a motion. Wait,
Judge Green called me and we set November 29th at 10 o'clock.
we have a motion and a second on the appointment of John Englander. Let's finish the roll call, and then we can go back to the scheduling issue. Okay.
Councilor Iannella.
Yes.
Councilor Duff.
Yes.
Councilor Kennedy.
Yes.
Councilor Casey.
Yes.
Councilor Hurley.
Yes.
Councilor Ferraro.
Yes.
Councilor Jovico.
Yes.
Councilor Devaney.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for your feedback relative to the process. It's critical that the process and the vetting process work in order to recruit and place into the court system the best, most talented, most dedicated people. So thank you for your feedback. We will take it all into consideration.
All right.
Councilor Iannella, but before going to you, we have a suggestion to change the continued hearing of Deborah Squires-Lee to November 15th at 1:15 and
Robert Santiago to November 29th, I believe.
at 1:15.
Yeah,
Okay.
everyone, 7 out of 8.
Okay, did everyone write that into your calendars? So, Councilor
I
Devaney.
just want to say that Judge Green called me and told me that he was appointed to the appeals court, and we set the date for November 29th at 10 o'clock for his hearing. But he has just been appointed as chief of the appeals court.
Council, there's already a hearing at 10:30.
Pardon?
That wouldn't be even possible because the 29th was already a hearing set for 10:30 in the morning.
It's of Mark Green.
Oh, yes, but
A
Counselor,
week ago.
yeah, but Counselor, I don't think, in all due respect,
Yeah.
and I completely respect.
The time on the 29th at 10:30 is open, and we have available for Mark Green.
To finish,
I was sort of 12:06, but she might get moved again. So it was.
okay, you have moved,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, so Green, Mark Green,
12:06. What time, Jim?
Mark, no, Mark Green is,
Right now.
Point of order, through you. I'm sorry, Noah, are you saying that you can't make it? I got a cold and I'm all.
I can make any time, any place, wherever you want. But
November 29th, tell me about that.
November 29th, I'm available. I'm looking forward to coming here and seeing you.
Okay, thank you.
Well, we will have Mark Green here at 10:30.
That's
Okay.
what
I'm assuming you will take the day for Mark Green, or do you
Yes.
want, okay, so that's why we cannot put Robert Santaniello on in the afternoon of the 29th. Do we have another time for his
Lieutenant Governor,
hearing?
because the parole board has been changed, and so that's why I took that.
Great.
okay, so 12/6 is who, when?
I think I should keep the parole person on because we've got the 30-day issue. So I'd like
Yes.
to keep Coletta Santa on for 12/6.
That's fine.
Mary, 2 o'clock on
No,
your office.
that hearing will go all day.
1:30?
December
1:30 or 2 o'clock?
I just want to make clear, the whole board person, you may have to reappoint them.
No, if I.
No, they did it.
We did that.
They did it, they redid it.
Okay, they said, yeah.
Yeah, what time on the 6th?
10:30,
Thank you.
Coletta Santa.
All right, so
And 12/6.
December 6th is,
Would you
brothers
like,
and sister
Santa,
counselors,
10:30.
1:30 for Santinello?
Yep.
On what day?
On the 6th, that might be
Sixth.
kind of close, those parole
Council
hearings.
Hurley, I would suggest from experience to only one hearing for the parole board. If that hearing most likely will take the good part, if not the entire
How
day.
about 13, Mary, there's nothing that day, in the morning.
I'll repeat this, I'll repeat
Why
this.
don't we work out the dates together after we leave?
So,
Well,
on,
Yeah, that's a good idea, Council.
how about if we do this? Santinello at 1:30 on the 6th. He's eminently qualified.
Okay.
I don't see him taking that long. At the worst case basis, if we need to,
That's fine. You can always
we'll bump somebody.
Okay.
Do him in the morning and do Coletta Santa in the afternoon, if he's gonna be quicker. That might be the better way to do it.
All right,
But we can talk about it.
all right, so I'm just going to repeat where we're at, and then you can adjust as you need. We are continuing Deborah Squires-Lee to November 15th at 1:15. There is no assembly on the 8th. There are 10:30, Paul Pino will be heard on the 15th.
so Deborah Squires-Lee is, what time, 1:15?
1:15.
1:15.
Okay,
10:30 and a 15.
And then on the no assembly on the 22nd. On the 29th, Mark Green will be heard at 10:30. On December, we would like it 10 a.m. On December 6th
On
is
the-
Colette Santa and Robert Santaniello. Okay.
all right, so 12/6,
Coletta Santa.
Right now, Colette Santa's at 10:30 and Santaniello's at 1:30. They may switch times. Yeah, okay. And that is where we're at the moment. Would you like to be heard further on that?
I just wanted to recognize, I belong to the We the People, and
Oh.
I see someone here, and I just want to
This is
recognize you.
Thank you. I'm not here to talk about that, but my name is David Rosenberg.
Okay.
I'm a supporter of the people.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
I will notify my nominee time that we're going to reconvene at 1:30 today.
I have one more matter. We have Janine D. Rivers. She's been nominated to the position of Associate Justice of the Suffolk Probate and Family Court. Councilor Jubinville, would you like to add a date and time to the calendar?
Why don't I give a date to George after speaking to my councils to get that done?
Okay.
I just have one other follow-up on the joint bar.
Yes.
Think about this if you're the administration. The President of the United States nominates nominees for judgeships. The ABA does not have the power that this joint bar has to stop a candidate. They can come to the Senate hearing and speak one way or the other if they wish. They don't have the right before the nomination is given to sidetrack it. So my suggestion would be if the bar or the representative want to come to this body and speak against the candidate, then they can do that.
But they have to have
shouldn't control
reasons.
who gets nominated or sent up here.
Okay, thank you for your discussion today and your feedback. I have one more matter. I have one more matter. William J. Ritter has been nominated to the position of Associate Justice of the Superior Court. Counselor Casey, you may suggest a date and time.
I'm going to grab the date of 12/13, which is the next available after we get through the parole, and I'm going to ask, I haven't spoken to the nominee, so if this changes, I'll let people know, but 12/13 at 10:30 a.m.
Okay, 10:30.
And what about, okay.
This concludes our assembly today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.